why the submarine volcano eruption in Tonga was so violent and what can we expect next. This is by Shane Cronin, Professor Earth Sciences, University of Auckland, on The Conversation. The Kingdom of Tonga does not often attract global attention, but a violent earthquake eruption of the underwater volcano January 15 has spread shock waves, quite literally, around half the world. The high-resolution Huma Huma satellite imagery of the Tonga Huma Huma volcano eruption in Tonga. Climate stations recorded a brief spike in air pressure as the atmospheric shock wave pulsed around New Zealand. The volcano is usually not much to look at. It consists of two small uninhabited islands, Huma Huma and Huma Tonga. They poke about 100 meters, 300 feet above sea level at 65 kilometers north of Tonga's capital, Nuku'alofa. But hiding below the waves is a massive volcano around 1,800 meters high. That's about 6,000 feet height and 20 kilometers wide. It's about 12 miles wide. The Huma Tonga Huma Huma volcano has erupted regularly over the past few decades. During events in 2009 and 2014 to 15, hot jets of lava, magma, and steam exploded through the waves, but these eruptions were small, dwarfed in scale by this eruption, January 2022. Our research into these early eruptions suggests this is one of the massive explosions a volcano is capable of producing roughly every 1,000 years. So could this be the big one? Why are the volcano's eruptions so highly explosive, given that the seawater should cool the magma down? If magma rises into sea water slowly, even at temperatures of about 1,200 degrees centigrade, a thin film of steam forms between the magma and the water. And this provides a layer of insulation to allow the outer surface of the magma to cool. But this process does not work when magma is blasted out of the ground full of volcanic gas. When magma enters the water rapidly, any steam layers are quickly disrupted, bringing hot magma in direct contact with the cold water. Volcano researchers call this fuel-coolant interaction. It's akin to weapons-grade chemical explosions. Extremely violent blasts tear the magma apart. A chain reaction begins with new magma fragments exposing fresh hot interior surfaces to water, and the explosion repeats, ultimately jetting out volcanic particles and causing blasts with supersonic speeds. And these blasts were heard throughout the southern hemisphere. Two scales of Huma eruptions. The 2014 to 15 eruption created a volcanic cone, joining the two old Huma islands to create a combined island about 5 kilometers long. It's about 3 miles long. And we visited this, he said, in 2016 and discovered these historical eruptions were merely curtain raisers to this main event. And mapping the seafloor, we discovered a hidden caldera about 150 meters below the waves. That's what, 200 to 6, about 500 feet below the waves. The caldera is a crater-like depression around 5 kilometers, 3 miles across. Small eruptions such as those in 2009 and 2014 to 15 occur mainly at the edge of the caldera. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And here we have the satellite image of that eruption again. Now, they occur mainly at the edge of the caldera, but very big ones come from the caldera itself, like this eruption here. These big eruptions are so large, the top of the erupting magma collapses inward and it deepens the caldera. Looking at the chemistry of the past eruptions, we now think the small eruptions represent the magma system slowly recharging itself to prepare for a big event. We found evidence of 2 huge past eruptions from Huma caldera in deposits on the old islands. We matched these chemically to volcanic ash deposits on the largest inhabited island of Tonga Tapu, 65 kilometers away, and then used radiocarbon dates to show that big caldera eruptions occur about every 1,000 years, with the last one taking place 1100 AD. So with this knowledge, the eruption that began on January 15 is still ongoing today, 5 out of 5 level. Red code seems to be right on schedule for a quote-unquote big one. And he says, what can we expect to happen now? We're still in the middle of this major eruptive sequence, and many aspects remain unclear because the island is currently obscured by ash clouds and also it's underwater. Now, the two earlier eruptions on December 20th, 2021 and January 13, 2022 were of moderate size. Today is January 18 as we're talking, so this thing is still ongoing. They produce clouds of up to 70 kilometers. Well, I just read that 6 minutes ago is updated on Volcano Discovery. No, the ash clouds are 30 kilometers and they have reached the stratosphere. Okay? Now, the latest eruption has stepped up the scale in terms of violence. The ash plume is already 20 kilometers high. No, it's 30. Most remarkably, it's spread out almost concentrically over a distance of about 130 kilometers from the volcano. We know the ash cloud has already reached into the half of Australia. It's created a plume with a 260 kilometer diameter before it was distorted by the wind. Yes, the wind has taken it all the way to Australia. If you see the video before this one, it has a lot more detail. We saw the null school images. So this demonstrates a huge explosive power, one that cannot be explained by magma-water interaction alone. It shows instead a large amount of fresh, gas-charged magma that has erupted from the caldera. And the eruption also produced a tsunami throughout Tonga and neighboring Fiji and Samoa. Shock waves traversed many thousands of kilometers. The video before this one shows you that it's basically felt around the whole world. It was equivalent to a 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Shock waves traversed many thousands of kilometers, were seen from space and recorded in New Zealand some 2,000 kilometers away. And soon after the eruption started, the sky was blocked out on Tonga Tapu with ash beginning to fall. All these signs suggest that the large Huma caldera has awoken. Tsunami generated by coupled atmospheric and ocean shock waves during an explosion, but they are also readily caused by submarine landslides and caldera collapses as well. So it remains unclear if this is the climax of the eruption. It represents a major magma pressure release, which may settle the system. A warning, though, lies in geological deposits from the volcano's previous eruptions. These complex sequences show that each of the 1,000-year major caldera eruption episodes involved many separate explosion events. Hence, we could be in for several weeks or even several years of major volcanic unrest from Huma Huma volcano. For the sake of the people of Tonga, I hope not, he says. So it could be a major eruption with intermittent eruptions, and this could be going on for several weeks or even several years of major volcanic unrest. And from what we learned from Volcano Discovery, now this article was given to us January 15. It's already on the 18th. So as of January 13, according to Volcano Discovery, 400,000 tons of sulfur dioxide were already in the atmosphere, and it's been ongoing for another 5 days since then. So what do we have now? 1 million tons of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere that has reached the stratosphere? We don't know. It's still ongoing. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.